Hi, this is Jamey with Stonemeyer Games, and I'm here today to talk about my favorite game mechanism in a game called Quantum. Quantum is it's kind of a space 4X game using dice as a core component for the game. I just played it for the first time about a week ago, and I really had a good time. It was a nice surprise. For some reason, I didn't expect much from a 4X space game where the ships weren't cool miniatures. Like that, for some reason, was an expectation for me, but I really enjoyed the game. And my favorite mechanism of the game is actually really tied to the dice. Um, as I said, the dice are your ships, and you're moving the ships around this modular board, trying to take over or add your influence to different planets, and you can fight other ships along the way. And uh, the number on your die tells you two things, and this is a really interesting dichotomy here. Especially since the dice are random. You randomly roll them at the beginning of the game, which creates some nice variability. And there are certain times in the game, like when you're putting a new ship on the board, you don't roll the die right then, but the dice are always random, but they're constant as well. When you have a ship six with the number six up on it on the board, uh, it is a number six until you do certain things that can change that die. Um, but here's the interesting dichotomy. The number on the ship indicates its speed. That's the first thing it tells you, which means that a ship with six on it can move six spaces. It's much faster. It can travel farther. It has better range for movement than a die with only one, which is really slow and can only move one space. But on the flip side, the lower the number the die is, the better it is in combat. Because in combat, you basically you roll some dice and you add the number on those dice to the number on the ship die, and the lower number wins battle. So a number one on a ship gives you a much better chance at getting the low number in battle than if you have a six. I absolutely love this because it makes perfect thematic sense that your fast ships are the ones that are going to be zipping around the galaxy. They're going to have light armor. They're going to be light ships. They're not going to be equipped for war. Whereas the ship that you have that like your destroyer ship that's really really powerful is going to be slow because it's going to be laden down with all these weapons and armor and combat equipment. So it makes perfect thematic sense, and I love in games that use dice when it's just as good to have a high number as it is to have a low number, and kind of in the middle, like the threes and the fours. Are also interesting because they're kind of a middle ground. Like they're not super good at one thing or super good at another. They're balanced out between the two. It's such a clever mechanism. I don't even know if it can apply to other games because Quantum has done it so well. I don't know if another game could use that exact mechanism without completely ripping off Quantum. But just in general, I love it in games when a high number is good and interesting at certain things, and a low number on the die is good and interesting at different things. Especially in a game where you're not constantly rolling the dice. I think Quantum does that well because you have a ship that is a six, and it's going to be a six for a while unless you go out of your way to change it. You're not rolling that die every turn to see what it does. Anyway, really cool mechanism. I really admire what the designer of Quantum did with this mechanism. Normally, I end the video by saying I hope I will see it in other games, but I'm kind of okay with this one just existing in Quantum in that specific way because it works so well for that specific game. So if you have any examples, I guess, of other games that use dice where the high number is interesting and good and the low number is interesting and good in different ways, I'd love to hear about them in the comments. And if you've played Quantum, I'd love to hear your thoughts as well. Thanks.